Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are going to present about the role and applications of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah in food and beverages. I will introduce the presenters in this group. First, Nabila binti Taji'i. Second, Zulfa binti Zulkifli. Third, Nabila binti Shahbuddin.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zulfa binti Zulkifli. For the introduction for our research of the role and application of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah in food and beverages, we find that in generally, Islam has two methods that Muslims practice in their life. The first method refers to the Quran and Sunnah as Islam's primary resources, while the second method refers to the human intellect and environment. So, what it means by human intellect and environment? In this modern era, we commonly need to face a lot of new contemporary issues where they are not covered in Quran and Sunnah but will be referred to the Ijma ulama viewpoints. In Islam, dealing with contemporary development is advocated through Qawaid Fiqhiyyah, or also known as Islamic legal maxim. Literally, Qawaid mean basic, foundation, fundament, rule, principle, or model. And technically, Qawaid is defined as a universal principle that is applicable to its particular. On the other hand, fiqh literally means understanding or comprehension, whereas technically, fiqh means knowledge acquired from detailed evidence regarding the rule of the Sharia pertaining the act of mukallaf. Hence, Qawaid Fiqhiyyah can be defined as a maxim related to the Sharia that related to the people's acts, or technically, it is a comprehensive method that applies to numerous particular cases and by which in ruling can be understood. However, there are some jurists who describe this Qawaid Fiqhiyyah based on their own interpretation, such as first from As-Suyuti. He said, Qawaid Fiqhiyyah as a general which applies to all is particular. And second from Al-Burnu. He said, Qawaid Fiqhiyyah as a universal legal ruling or proposition from which are understood the particular legal rulings that are derived from it. And third, from the Sheikh Mustafa Al-Zakra said, the root maxim of fiqh dedicated in its consists text which regulatory nature containing general rules of law on this issue which transpire under Islam. And the last from Al-Hamawi said, Qawaid Fiqhiyyah is the predominant ruling which is applied to the greater part of its particular. Next, we're going to talk about the relation of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah in food and beverages. As we know, food is important thing to human because food provide energy to us. However, there are several kinds of food that haram in Islam, such as if the food will damage oneself or others, such as alcohol. As hadith from the Prophet wife ﷺ say that he said, the meaning is every drink that intoxicated is unlawful or haram. Hence, the objective of our study is basically focused on two main things, which is first, to identify the role of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah in determining halal in food and beverages, and second is to display the application of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah in food and beverages.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nabila binti Taji'i and I'm going to present my part which is about the role of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah in food and beverage. Alright, so first thing first, let's see, Muslims in Malaysia have always desired to discover better meals as long as the ingredients are clean and halal. So we are very sensitive to halal and haram issues, particularly when it comes to food and drink. Alright, so the same can be said about the cleanliness, which is based on the halal thayyiban principle. But when it comes to the use of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah in food and beverage, it has had a lot of good effect on both Muslim and non-Muslim. Alright, so hence the use of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah in broad issues had brought to problem solving as much as in food and beverage issues. Okay, so there are many rules of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah in food and beverage. The first rule of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah is by helping people to do the correct action. Okay, so any application in the food and beverage industry should be done with good intention and must be applied with kindness and honesty. For example, one of the maxim Qawaid Fiqhiyyah, which matters are determined according to intention, which is al-umur bimaqasidiha. Okay, so the second rule is to overcome challenges and adversity. This is because sometimes there are choices and rules to choose to overcome challenges and hardship. For example, the maxim of hardship begets facility, which is al-mashaqqah tajlibu taysir. This theory seems to look relevant to the permissibility of haram things in the case of necessity. For example, when meats that are considered haram, such as pork, can only be considered legal in situations such as when a person is starving and needs to preserve his life. Okay, so the third is Qawaid Fiqhiyyah responsibility in food and beverage is to prevent any kind of harm from happening. Anything that causes injury is forbidden under Islamic law. Thus, what is considered dangerous or harmful must be eliminated or avoided. The maxim that can be applied through this rule is La darara wa la dirar, which means harm should not be inflicted nor reciprocated. Okay, so the fourth rule is to clear the doubt and making sure that everything taken is believed to be clean and halal. Okay, so in this case of food processing, there are many critics and doubt about the way of processing as well as the ingredient of it, which obviously is the main part of making sure the product is clean and guaranteed halal according to Sharia. So, for instance, the maxim of al-yakin la yuzal bishak, which means what is certain cannot be removed by a dog. Okay, so the fifth rule is Qawaid Fiqhiyyah in food beverage was supposed to give the convenience to human beings, especially Muslim, in performing something. In fact, it is supposed to give Muslim confidence in consuming food or beverage. For instance, the maxim of al-ada muhakkamah, which means custom is arbitrary. Custom in the maxim referring to the general practices of the people or the practices of certain group of behavior, including their behaviors and words. Okay, so that's all the rules of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah to food and beverage. What I can say here is the food and beverage issues attracted the greatest concern in the discussions of contemporary scholars because human beings, either Muslim or non-Muslim, both emphasize the importance of food and beverage in keeping it clean and pure to eat. So that's why the Qawaid Fiqhiyyah had given the important rules to ensure that every Muslim can follow the guidance of Sharia compliance. Okay, so that's all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nabila binti Shahbuddin. Okay, I will present about the application of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah in food and beverage. Okay, first, umum al-balwa. Second, umur bil maqasidiha. Third, al-yakinu la yuzalu bishak. Fourth, la durul wa la dirar fi Islam. And then al-istishab by the method of fiqh al-asal al-ibaha. And then lastly, technology in slaughter. There are various principles used in the determination of halal food and beverage. One of the application in fiqh is the general principles of al-balwa. Umum al-balwa has been applied by scholars in the field of nutrition. Among the examples of fiqh debates in the issue of food is that grain of wheat that is exposed to buffalo dung and urine is not considered as creaming. Al-balwa is applicable in this situation because there is difficulty in avoiding it. This is because in agriculture, the use of buffalo in doing wet and grain related work is much needed. Buffaloes are used for riding, plowing, transportations of agricultural product and so on. Due to that, it is difficult to prevent agricultural product from being exposed to buffalo droppings. Therefore, agricultural products that are exposed to feces are halal to eat. In addition, al-balwa is used in the law of water from the former licking of cats, which is not considered unclean. In this case, cats have different traits, not because of their nature, but because cats are all around human and tame. This word of the Prophet Muhammad SAW, meaning, indeed, cat is not unclean. Indeed, it is an animal that is often around us. Hadith narrated by Abu Dawud. So it is difficult to always clean the place where the cat passes. This is closely linked to the difficulty of keeping water container from being leaked by cats. Due to that, there is an illah that exists against the cat, and it is leaking, which is not unclean because of the widespread darura, and it is difficult to avoid it. Besides, eating the contents of the stomach, that is the faces of small fish, is a must to eat. Among the things that they are difficult to avoid in the diet is the faces found in small fish such as anchovies. Small fish are difficult to dispose of their stomach even more. So in large quantities, al-balwa has legalized small fish even its stomach is not being removed. This is because Ibn Hajar al-Haytami clarified the halal of small fish that are not emptied of their stomach to be eaten and relieved of what it is the body cavity is not considered unclean. Okay, second, Qawaid Fiqhiyyah can be traced through the law of making food and drink through the legal maxim of al-umuru bimaqasidiha, which means all matters depend on its purpose. An example of an application that can be explained is that when a person buys grapes for the purpose of eating and drinking, then the law is halal to use. Whereas if a person buys grape to make wine, then the law is illegal to use. This shows that every action requires true intention on the part of Islam and safeguarding the common good. Islam has given very perfect rules to make practice and not to harm human being. Okay, apart from that, the method of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah that is practiced in the determination of halal food is certainty is not overruled by doubt. That is, in the types of the original in something is possible. For example, for all animals that are difficult to determine their prohibition due to the nature of nature or characteristic that belong to the animal that are forbidden, then the animal is halal to eat. As long as the animal is not harmful to eat, then the animal can be eaten. What is haram is used, it is haram to get. Can be used in banning drinking water by using gold or silver cups. So it is also illegal to buy it or keep it, because if you keep a gold cup, chances are we will use the cup. Okay, this slide is scholars' discussion regarding additive in food and beverages has become a hot topic in the determining halal or haram. The opinion of Shafi'i scholars state that additives are said to be halal based on al-istishab by the method of fiqh al-asal al-ibaha, which means the origin of something is a must, unless there is a harm or the manufacturing process is mixed with impure substances. The issue related to additive that are the talk of the town is renin additive. Renin is a type produced from the stomach of a calf or goat. So renin serve as a process to help the milk coagulate into cheese. This gives rise to another new additive as well, which is formed from the cheese production process. Some opinion are saying this renin is taken from halal animals that are not slaughtered according to Islamic law. So the use of this additive in the Shafi'i school uses a slightly rigid method of terminology. From the Hanafi school, which say it is more relevant to the development of today's industry. But most of the scholars prefer the Shafi'i school of thought in the use of terminology, especially in dealing with high-risk food based on adarul mafasid ula min jalbil masalah, which means rejecting mafsadah is more important than achieving maslahah. through the practice of the concept of ihtiyat, which means be careful. So additives that are harmful and risk violating the Sharia are not halal to use. Okay, another application of Qawaid Fiqhiyyah is concerning natural food coloring. It is also a topic related to halal or haram items based on the legal maxim that can be used in the Qawaid Fiqhiyyah is La darar wa la dirar fil Islam, or harm may neither be inflicted nor reciprocated in Islam. This method has been studied by scholars using the Quran and Sunnah following the Maqasid Sharia, which is to eliminate hardship and prevent danger and harm. This can protect human being or user from any danger and fraud. The maxim is ad-darar yuzalu, or danger must be left before it occurs. This shows that Islam is very strict in keeping human life so that it is always preserved and protect from future dangers. So the use of food coloring is permissible if it does not pose a danger to humans under the Qawaid Fiqhiyyah that has been set by Islam. Okay, according to Fatwa Muzakarah Malaysia, there are several staining methods that are allowed in Islam are mechanical staining, electrical staining, wind staining, and water staining immunization. Okay, electric staining is a method that applies a slow electric current to an animal before it is slaughtered. Animals will faint for a while because they are exposed to electricity with the rate of electric current always in a set of percentage. This method is equivalent to wind staining and water staining vaccination, which act to weaken and kill the animal only without death. In addition, staining electricity will scare the animal, and at that time it must be slaughtered to death because this time is considered as mustakirah from animal, and this is said to be compassion for animals. Staining that is done also has the condition that the moment is not at will to do electric staining according to the convenience and pleasure of the human only. Among the conditions is that the staining is done by Muslim who have been confirmed by Jakim to work in the process that also need to use sharp mechanical equipment and cleaning done on a daily basis. The staining method of setting the law, the fatwa scholars agreed in the use of the method of setting the law of istinbat hukum, which is derived from the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, namely from Shahid by Aus radhiyallahu anhu, that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa taala requires doing good to all things. For what? When you kill an animal, kill it in a good way. And let one of you sharpen with knife and make it easier for the animal to be slaughtered." Hadith riwayat Muslim. Okay, the process of determining the istinbat of the law is also said by Muhammad Firdaus Sapian, based on the view of contemporary scholars, namely Wahbah Zuhaili, who said that modern tools are not forbidden in weakening the movement of animal without torturing animals. Islam allows the use of this staining method, provided it does not kill before being slaughtered, according to the Islamic method, which is to ensure that both the halqum and marid vein have been severed perfectly. So, if the animal dies before being slaughtered, then it is not halal and haram to eat, as it due to burns due to high immersion temperature, causing death before slaughter. That's all for me, thank you.
According to the Mufassir, halal food is originated from Allah to all His servants, where it contains nutritious and beneficial to mankind. Allah also bans all harmful food that will damage His servant, and also prohibited the food if it's obtained in wrong way, such as from stealing. Also, in this modern era, humanity faces a lot of issues, such as biotechnology issues, where it had been discussed by the scholar. As a holistic religion, Islam had their own way in dealing with which issue. As a result, Islamic bioethic may be the ideal option for governing modern biotechnology application and goods that benefit everyone while causing no harm to anybody or anything.